Welcome back to the Next Play podcast with Prof G and Shively, episode 10, season 2. After a brief hiatus for spring break, Matt, how you doing?
Well, it got a lot hotter since our last chat, but here we are. We're in our outside office.
Different office. We actually did one of these earlier. I think season 1. We're in a parking lot again.
We did the basketball preview show from this very parking lot, and now we're doing the basketball conclusion show.
Well, see, we got to be consistent. You got to wrap full circle. Full circle.
I love it.
Yeah. So, but spring break last week, so there was a little bit of action going on, but none of it at home except for sand volleyball, which we'll touch on here in a minute. But let's just start. It's not going to be a very positive show today, I don't think, in terms of results. But we're going to try and talk about how to spin that positive or negative into some positive, right? So
results are not the only metric to measure growth.
That is true.
It's true.
Unless you're a head coach somewhere and you want to keep your job.
Yes, it is a big.
Not talking about justice. I'm just saying in general.
Right. It is an important metric, but when the results aren't there, you have to look at other metrics of growth, and I think we definitely have that to talk about for sure.
Well, let's talk about, and I think this is both a positive and a heartbreaker. Men's basketball season came to an end week and a half ago or so, almost 2 weeks ago. And the reason I say positive and negative is because they, once again, did really well in the conference after a tough start to the season. They showed up really well. They represented Justice really well, and it literally came down to J.D. Walker's shot going in and out of the basket that would have sent them to the national tournament.
It would have. That was. They were that close, and we've reflected on it. We were so pulled by the heartstrings that entire time. Like, we were feeling all the same emotions as the guys on the bench.
If you haven't seen it, go to Instagram and check out the announcer reaction to the final shot.
I feel like I was literally going through all of the stages of grief that night too. I was in denial. I was bargaining. Depression came for sure.
I was concerned about you because we were up on a platform. And your reaction to throw yourself back because you were so disappointed, I thought for sure you were going off the back of the platform.
I forgot where I was. My hat somehow left my head. I don't remember taking it off. There were all kinds of things happening. But
what we said in the broadcast, though, we care about these guys. And
we do.
They work hard, and we're probably not as disappointed as they were.
Of course not. Yeah, and that's a couple takeaways from that. You see. And this is every sport and every athlete we have here. They care so much, and they truly put in the work. We see them doing that in the gym and on the field. Every time I leave, the soccer field is full of people in 100-degree weather practicing and running. And the weight room, I see Instagram reels of people in the weight room. These kids put in the work and the effort, and they pour into these seasons for it to end so abruptly with a shot that was, even that last play, right? You have the dribble up, you have some chaos happen, ball looks like it's going to get stolen, then it gets poked out to JD, and he's just got an open, it wasn't wide open, but it was open, an open look. It felt like that in that moment, oh my gosh, it's going to happen.
The story's going to complete here.
It's going to complete, and then ka-dunk.
Yep. And like I said, it wasn't a brick. It wasn't an air ball. It literally looked like it went down and came back out again. So just unfriendly rims at Nelson University that day.
Yeah.
But and as of today, this is Thursday. We're recording. Yesterday was the start of the national tournament, and so far our crosstown rivals actually took out the 2 seed. So we'll see what they do. But that could have been us.
I know it's. I'm having trouble paying attention to it for that reason.
I only looked it up because we were talking about basketball today. So
right.
Well, so good. Good job to Coach BJ and his squad.
Absolutely.
I think the exposure that BJ is getting them at the beginning of the season with the bigger programs has really been fruitful for the team. And just like I think I mentioned to you earlier when we were chatting, that I just feel bad for guys that are graduating and kind of had a couple of years of getting close. But yeah, we'll miss them, but try again next time around, right?
Absolutely. And we've seen a lot of graduated seniors, a lot. We've had 2 years of it, but we've seen them stick around the program and add to the future. And
about 3 assistant coaches right now that are.
That's right, which is really, really cool. That shows you they believe. And I saw one of them had a hashtag Justice for Life or something like that, and I love that because that just shows they're bought in and they care. Again, they leave it all on the court, and so yeah, transitioning to the other sports that are still going. Right, baseball had a tough trip to California a couple weeks ago, and they're on their way back as we speak to play another 3 games. This one against Bethesda, I believe.
Yeah, last week was La Siena. Is that right?
I believe
La Siena University? No?
They had an off week last week.
I'm talking about the last road trip. I apologize.
Yeah, it was Westcliff.
Westcliff. La Siena was they played here.
I think so.
That was one, but that was a California team I think that came in. Anyway,
right.
I'm probably all wrong, but I'm going to go with it anyway. So baseball, yeah, on their road trip to Cali didn't turn out the way they wanted.
Yeah, it looked like it's following a little bit of the formula we've seen so far, where bullpen's imploding a little bit later. One of the games I was watching, I think it was the second game of the doubleheader. I was just watching the kind of the live stats, if you will, and Devin Hancock, I think, was into the 6th without giving up a run. He was completely baffling them, and then they wound up still scoring.
That was after his last start, which was a complete game win.
Yeah.
So he's on a little bit of
a heat check, and then the bullpen is still a work in progress. Those guys care too. They care so much, and they're working on it. And so I'm hoping to hear for a better result at Bethesda. I think they could take 2 of 3 from Bethesda. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think the comments I got from the guys in class, I said, "How did it go?" And they kind of shook their head, and I said, "No, come on, we're doing the podcast. I got to know how it goes, right?"
Yeah,
and
they said something.
They said the drive was good. I said,
"Nice."
Okay, so they are building team, the building team camaraderie. I was talking to somebody I can't recall that a friend of mine that played some basketball. He's a coach right now, and his team is having trouble with some chemistry, right? And I told him, like, you can look at
bro.
That too, hacky sack. They're definitely make sure that they have a sack being hacky at most times.
Yes.
But if you look even at the classes, they travel in groups.
They do.
There's basketball, there's baseball, so it's good to see the chemistry these teams have put together.
They do.
So good luck on your road trip to Bethesda, guys. Hopefully you have some success this weekend. And on that note, women's volleyball, sand volleyball.
Yeah.
Should we call it sand or beach? Because it's sand on our website and everything, but everybody calls it beach. So I think we call it beach.
It's beach. Their merch says beach.
Yeah.
I think it's beach.
Yeah. They do play at the pool house,
They do.
So.
That's naturally a beach because there's water.
Yeah, anywhere there's water.
That's a beach.
When they irrigate the grove, that's now a beach. Yeah. No.
Temporary lake.
Yep. So they had a 3-game set this past weekend. First day was against Benedictine, and you were able to call one game while I called the other, but we still are figuring out our technology. So
yes, we are having a little issues with connectivity and heat.
If anybody watching or listening to this, YouTube or otherwise, knows what maybe a creative solution to keep our equipment cool, comment or send us a note or something. So
yeah,
but that was fun, but we didn't get any sets in that one. And then they also played a doubleheader. Wayne State, does that sound right?
Wayne State, I believe they're out of Nebraska.
Yeah, on Sunday, and again, weren't able to take a set, so straight defeats in both of their matches.
That was the doubleheader, so
three losses, unfortunately, this weekend.
0 for 15 in the sets.
Yeah, so
the games, I guess it would be, not sets.
So all this to say, there's a lot of disappointment potentially going on.
Potentially.
So the question is, and you posed it earlier, and it was a great one, what do you do with disappointment? What do you do with when you're struggling and when you're not hitting the goals you want to hit to keep that momentum going? So you have some thoughts. You warned me you had some thoughts, so we're just going to let you go with your thoughts.
Yeah, and this kind of goes to my current favorite Bible verse, Matthew 16:33, I believe it is. In this life you will face troubles of many kinds, but take heart, I have overcome the world.
Mm-hmm.
And these are troubles. Yeah, like in the scheme of life, losing a volleyball match probably barely registers as a hardship or as a trouble. But in that moment, you were wanting to win and you didn't, right? It's disappointing. You wanted to go to the national championship. That ball in the air looked like you were going, and then it bounced out and you're not, right? Disappointment happens. It's part of life. And disappointment is just one hardship, right? It's only one trouble, but it is one that is very real, and you can't eliminate that from the human experience. We will go through troubles of many kinds, but take heart. I think we can learn a lot from loss. We can learn a lot from disappointment. We can learn a lot from things not going quite the way we want. We can make adjustments. We can keep our chin up. We can learn for next time. We can make the pass when we've made the shot, or whatever it is. And so I think that's true. That echoes through life. As we were reflecting in the immediate seconds after that disappointing loss in the basketball game, I think I even uttered the words like, "That's life." Sometimes the shot doesn't go down, and as comforting as I'm sure that was not in the moment, it's
a good thing they were all over there. They couldn't hear you.
I wasn't talking to them directly in that moment. That's probably good. But I think disappointment God can use, like what man intends for evil, another verse from Genesis, God can work for good. And again, calling a missed shot evil is probably strong. That's not what I'm trying to say. But
not sure God's really registering the sand volleyball game or the basketball game on his level of importance. Things.
Yeah. But if it matters to us, it matters to him.
Sure.
I think that's a thing.
Yep.
And so I think how can you let that shape you in a good way from the disappointment? Like, God, what's the lesson in here for me to learn? How can I improve? And as Coach Corbin says, as I walked by him a couple weeks ago, we're going to use it as fuel. And I think that's the right mindset to have when things happen.
I saw somebody recently say that the difference between responding and reacting is just time. It's how much time do you put in before you launch into your response? Do you let yourself react instantly?
Yeah.
Or do you take the time to think thoughtfully and then respond? And all we can control is our own attitudes, our own responses. And so you already said you talked to at least one coach that said, this is going to be fodder for next year, right? To do better.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's year number 2 that Nelson has given us fodder for the next season.
It's true.
But
it's true.
Yeah, and we won't,
rivalry is good for the sport. We've talked about that.
We can be the homer and say that, we still feel like Justice probably should have gotten an invite to the tourney, but
I have my opinions about that for sure. I feel the West Coast is underrepresented and under respected, and so. But Justice is still relatively new. The onus is on us to show why they should respect us, and that goes to sand volleyball, right? This is a brand new sport. These ladies have. A lot of them never played beach before. They're court volleyball only to this point and they're giving it a go. They're giving it a try, and I love that. And I've seen them progress. I mean, we watched their very first match, I think it was, and then seeing them last weekend. They've really come a long way. And I saw an Instagram reel of them doing some like team building exercises on the sand. It was really cool to see. And I think Coach Jess has got. Doing a good job in year 1. Really, we've talked about this with the other programs. You have to get buy-in when you're creating a program. And so she's getting buy-in, getting kids. Can I call them kids?
I mean, they're kids to us, but they're now officially young adults. So there you go.
Getting these young adults to buy into a new sport, there's a level of risk there involved. They've never done that before. They don't want to embarrass themselves or whatever.
Yeah,
it's time. It's a time commitment. And
sand is so much different. Talking to the ladies playing beach, obviously, is 2-on-2 instead of 6-on-6, and so right there, you're covering a whole court with just you and your teammate. I was talking to Sam Atwood about, she's a middle blocker, right? So she was talking about I need to do better at the block, and I said that's so difficult for you and for your partner because if you miss that block. Now there's only one person to get everything behind you, and so you're probably hesitant to get up and block. But they just talked a lot about communication. They're still learning how to communicate on the sand court. They're also learning how to read the opposition and figure out where those weak spots might be on their side of the sand. So it's a it's a new sport, obviously. So we're kind of back in that boat of we're brand new. We're still learning, and. These are more established programs and blah, blah, blah. We're kind of getting past that for basketball now where we can use those reasons. But I think for baseball and for volleyball.
Yeah, our 2 new sports are the ones going right now.
Brand new sports. And they're still – these teams that they're playing don't know who the heck they are even. They're like, Justice who? Right. So it's cool to see we're getting some attention and people want to play our school. And hopefully that continues to improve. But I think you're right. Just react. Not reacting, but responding. Right. And really controlling your emotions and using it for positivity. I don't know. Hopefully, next time we get to call the shot in, or they're up by 30, and it doesn't matter. That's the way. I talked to a couple guys this week, and I said, why was it the close game at Nelson during the season, and then a 30-point blowout at home, and then a close game at Nelson again?
Right.
And they're like, well, there's something about like their environment. They do a good job of bringing people out, and it's loud in that gym, and just, the stage was big. Both teams wanted to perform. So I'm rambling, but all that to say,
adversity will come. It's like you said, reacting out of emotion usually gets you a technical, usually gets you ejected, usually gets you whatever. But responding is a longer game, right? And it goes sometimes beyond the game you're currently in and into the next time you face those guys or whatever it is. And so having a responsive mindset, not a reactive mindset, I think is a huge thing. That's in life. That's not just sports. I think when we're talking to our spouses, like a reaction doesn't go well. A response is more thought out and more polished and more full of grace. That's good, right?
Yeah.
With our kids, when we're disciplining them, same thing. When we're being reprimanded at work by our boss, like
we almost went the whole podcast without one of those. But
when you're interrupted by a motorcycle, like you have to respond, not react.
Well, we just both reacted. So
dang it!
Step back here for a second. Oh, you know what? Life happens sometimes. That's okay that he went by.
It is. God bless him.
Yes, exactly.
Hope he gets safely to his destination.
Absolutely. Well, so we are doing these podcasts once a week. If you don't already subscribe, please do so. You can check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Honestly, we're going to do our best to bring you broadcasts, but we got to figure something out with the equipment because we're already in the triple digits here this week. So
going to be
next broadcast isn't till
roasting bacon like a roasted cheeser. What's the line in Sandlot? I know it's going to be hot out there.
It's hot. Yeah. Well, we don't have to have a concession stand and just bring eggs and cook them on
there
the sidewalk.
There you go. Sell some omelets.
Exactly. So we'll see you next broadcast, I think, is next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. That's baseball. And volleyball, I think, only has one more match at home, maybe two, the rest of the season. So we're getting down toward the wire, Matt. It's been a fun first year, though, so far.
It has been. We've learned a lot.
Absolutely. So thanks for checking us out. Like and follow our pages on Facebook and Instagram. And for Matt Shively, I am Prof G, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.